260 pounds, Jerry Gray. Jerry Gray. His opponent from Pensacola, Florida, 242 pounds. Let's welcome Steve Armstrong.
Well, Coach, certainly no doubt about it. Steve is a hometown favorite here at the University of Tampa. And I'm anxious to see him in action. I've heard so many things about him, and of course you know so many things about him. You relayed the story to me about having wrestled his dad well, I shouldn't say too many years ago, but a few.
It was quite a few years ago. Quite a few years ago, and it would hasten my exit from the ring.
Is that right?
Right now, but right now I'm sitting between Kendall Windham and Scott Hall, and I know what the expression between a rock and a hard place means right now, because I'm sitting between two rocks or two hard places.
Hey, Coach, sitting there watching Steve Armstrong, what an athlete he is. He's from a wrestling background just like I am. His father and his brothers, it's in his blood just like it is in mine.
There's no doubt about it, Kendall.
He's quite an athlete there.
The strong side headlocks to go on there, put on there.
Jerry Gray, he's a pretty tough competitor, too.
He may have more than he wants right now.
Yeah, I'll believe that.
And Scott?
I tell you, I'm really enjoying this match, Coach. I know all about Steve Armstrong and his great background, but I've been hearing a lot of talk about this Jerry Gray, too. He's up and coming. He's trying to make a name for himself, too, just like everybody else. And this looks like turned out to be a great match.
Well, he has. He held the Bahama title for quite a while. He's known as a headhunter, but he's in against a fellow who looks like a headhunter with those side headlocks and throwing a hip in and whipping him over.
I kind of know how Steve feels. He's just coming into the Florida area. You got some things to prove. You got to show the people you can, back up your reputation.
Well, I'm sure I'm looking at three fine young athletes who can back up their reputation at any time.
Well, Coach, it seems like everybody's picking sides here right now. Kevin Sullivan's come back, and Bad News Allen is, that they're messing him around with some money. I don't think that was right to begin with on the reason why I owed him money. But, everybody's picking sides now. And right here, we got Steve Armstrong, and we got Scott Hall, and we got Kendall Windham. Us three, I'm sure we're going to stick together through thick and thin because we're in Florida, and we're going to stay here for a while. And when the going gets tough, we're all going to be right there together.
Well, there's an old saying that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. But I got a funny feeling that these three guys wouldn't go anywhere. They would stay right where the trouble is and face up to it, Stan.
Well, no doubt about it. You are right about being in the midst of a rock and a hard place. And Steve Armstrong doing a little bit of feeling out of Jerry Gray, a tough competitor, and timed perfectly. He acquainted Jerry Gray to the bottom of those large shoes.
And he can really get up in the air.
Look at that shot.
Still a great athlete, man. He almost kicked him right in the face that time.
Tremendous athlete. That fellow runs in there about 245 pounds. He's a big bone lad, just like his dad was, and still is, of course. And a backside suplex by Jerry Gray may have temporarily, we hope, stopped Steve on his victorious quest here.
So he landed right on his head there. Well, here goes Jerry Gray. He's going to using the ropes. He's notorious for doing things like that. He's a nationally known wrestler. He's been to Japan quite a few times and over to other different countries. Jerry Gray knows his way around the ring, but Steve Armstrong knows his way too, so I hope the best for Steve right now. Come on, Steve! Come on!
I hope he hasn't taken Steve out of that match, but got an awful tough customer in Jerry Gray, and it's going to take Scott Hall and Steve Armstrong a few matches and a few nights to find out just who's who in the state of Florida.
That's right, Coach. Like I mentioned earlier, this Jerry Gray, he's trying to prove things for himself, too. He's got a chance here on statewide TV to show the people what he can do, and it looks like he's a pretty capable wrestler himself.
Well, Scott, not only is it statewide, but it is national-wide television, and we're seen all over the country and in about 15 foreign countries. And there, a rear strong rear chin lock applied by Gray. As I said before, Scott, he is a headhunter, and of course, from what we've seen of young Steve Armstrong, a very athletic, acrobatic youth, a man who can do it all. And now, a nice side sit-out with a spin under and into a hammerlock against Jerry Gray. And Stan, how are things going on up there?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a great post to do a little bit of observing. I'm not quite as close to the action as you, but I must say Steve Armstrong taking his time. feeling out Jerry Gray. Jerry has been a tremendous competitor over the last few years that I've had a chance to observe him. Former Bahama heavyweight champion. And I've noticed with him, he timed that. He introduced Steve Armstrong to the bottom of his shoes. But I've noticed with Jerry Gray, he's primarily an upper body worker. He goes for the shoulders, the throat, the head. And he's gotten Steve Armstrong mad.
A great big 20-inch arm coming down over the head of Jerry Gray. And now Steve issuing out some punishment on his own behalf.
You know, it seems like the tougher Jerry Gray gets, the tougher Steve's getting. Wow!
Whoa!
Absolutely.
That's come right on top of us here, Coach.
Yep. I don't think he wanted to go back where he went because
he might be a little safer out here with us.
right in the arms of Steve Armstrong.
High back there.
What an amazing young athlete. What a talented individual we have in Steve Armstrong. And Bob Armstrong has turned out an all-American product.
Well, he seems to have gotten Jerry Gray very heated.
Power slam.
Wait a minute.
Far leg hook.
There it is.
And that's it.
Well,
whoa.
What a way to come back into Tampa. Tremendous
Way to go,
victory.
Steve.